Hello, and welcome to another installment of Dear Celestron. I'm Lance Lucero, Product Manager of Astronomy for Celestron, and I'm here to answer your questions. The question we're often being asked lately is, how do I go about seeing this new comet that's headed our way? They are, of course, referring to Comet C2022 E3 ZTF, which is making its return to the solar system for the first time in 50,000 years. If this comet continues to brighten as expected, it could become the first comet to reach naked eye brightness since Comet Neowise in 2020. While this comet will not likely be as spectacular as Comet Neowise, it is certainly worth checking out. So how do I see this comet? The comet hits perihelion, or its closest approach to the Sun, on January 12th. Look for it above the northeastern horizon just after midnight between the constellations of Hercules and Boötes. It's predicted to be a magnitude 7.2, which is still too faint to be seen with the unaided eye, but can easily be seen in binoculars or small wide-field telescopes. This comet favors the northern hemisphere viewer, becoming circumpolar by around the third week of January, meaning that it will not set below the horizon and will be visible all night long. On January 29th, the comet will be very easy to find, as it will appear about 10 degrees southeast of Polaris, the North Star. To give you an idea of what 10 degrees of sky is, simply hold your fist out at arm's length. That will block approximately 10 degrees worth of sky. By then, the comet is expected to achieve its brightest at approximately magnitude 5.5, which puts it just within the limits of naked eye visibility under ideal conditions. How easy it will be to see is dependent on a great many things. For example, where you're observing from and how transparent the atmosphere is. City lights, even the light from a waxing gibbous moon, can prevent your eye from fully dilating, thereby limiting the amount of light that can enter it and limiting how faint of an object you can see. If you can get yourself away from city lights and head to a dark sky site, you're going to stand a much better chance of seeing it. On February 2nd, the comet reaches perigee, which is its closest approach to Earth. While it's getting farther from the Sun, it is still expected to have a visual magnitude of around 5.5. But the bright moon could still make it harder to see. On February 10th and 11th, the comet will pass within 1.5 degrees of Mars during the early evening and just under a degree away before Mars sets below the horizon. On February 13th and 14th, the comet will pass the Hyades star cluster, which is the V-shaped group of stars that form the head of the constellation Taurus the Bull. Both of these dates will offer some fun opportunities for photography, so grab your camera and grab your tripod and get out there. The comet will continue to get fainter as it goes until we finally lose sight of it in the evening twilight at the end of April. Here are some basic pointers on how to see this comet. To get the latest up-to-the-minute information on the comet, check astronomy or scientific-related websites, or you can consult astronomy software, sky reports, or astronomy apps like Celestron's Sky Portal. When viewing a faint comet, you're going to want to use optical aid. Even though a comet may be bright enough to be seen with the naked eye, if you really want to catch the beauty of the details that you'll find in the dust and ion tails, even a simple pair of binoculars will do. Something that you would use for sports or bird watching, we would recommend something along the lines of a 7x50. The 50 millimeters has a large aperture which collects a lot of light, and the 7 power magnification gives you a large exupupil so that if you're in dark skies, you will get the maximum amount of light and detail into your eyeball. Longer focal length telescopes will also be fine, but those will only give you close-up views of the coma, or the head of the comet. If you really want to see the comet and the tail as a single unit, then I would strongly urge you to use A short focal length wide field telescope, or even a spotting scope, would work just as well. If you have an opportunity to get out and see this comet, it's worth your time. It's amazing to think that the last time that this object visited the inner solar system, modern humans were still a nomadic people barely settling in southern Europe. Stop and think to yourself what life is going to be like when this thing returns again in another 50,000 years. Comets are notoriously unpredictable, with some never getting anywhere near their predicted brightness. I'm looking at you, Comet Ison. While others, like Comet McNaught in 2006, suddenly flared up beyond expectations and put on a spectacular show. It's definitely worth taking the time to hunt it down and to keep your eye on it. To paraphrase one of the great thinkers of the 20th century, comets are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Until next time, thanks for watching, and good seeing.